Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are sitting in Jasper Hinton Airport in Alberta, and we're going to try and make a scenic flight down through the past the Columbia Fields, basically following the corridor where the highway goes from Jasper down to Banff and then over to Calgary. We're gonna be flying an FMS route, our GPS route plugged into our FMS over here. Uh, but it's going to basically be a VFR flight and see what we can see in the mountains here. So anyway, we're at Hinton. We're going to begin our taxiway. I should see our tax. Before that, though, we're going to do a before takeoff checklist. Before taxi checklist, I'm just trying to set the preferences up here for camera focus, manual, semi-automatic. So I'm going to do it semi-automatic. This way, I want to go down to the camera focus. I'm going to try automatic and see if it'll do that. So we're going to go back now. Start the checklist.
Gen tie switch.
Yeah. Okay.
Observe left generator tie, right generator tie annunciators illuminated. Open. Voltmeter.
Up here.
Observe center bus at battery voltage. Check. Gen
Center
tie
bus.
switch.
I keep having trouble
Observe
finding the
center
generator.
bus voltage
There it is.
normal.
Okay, just set it to normal.
Bus sense switch.
Down the center here beside it.
Observe left generator tie open,
Test.
right generator tie open, and battery tie open annunciators illuminated. Rotate the voltmeter bus select switch through each position. Note zero voltage on all positions except battery. Observe center bus at battery voltage and center bus. Check. Bus sense switch. Observe left generator tie open, right
Excuse me.
generator tie open, and battery tie open annunciators illuminated. Reset. Rotate the voltmeter bus select switch through each position. Observe center voltage on all positions except battery, external power. Check. Triple fed bus and center bus. Bus selector switch. Triple
Fed.
Master panel and cockpit lights.
Should be up here. We got them on.
As desired.
On.
Environmental system.
Environmental bleed air normal should be set on. Inverters, both inverters are on.
Number 1 and 2 AC bus annunciators extinguished.
That's up top here, I guess. Oh, right here.
On check. Avionics master switch.
It's on.
On. FMS.
We got that on. Checked.
EFIS power switches.
That's down below here. They're on.
On.
EFIS power. Flaps are up. We're not using any flaps.
Exterior lights.
Okay, we got the taxi lights, nav light on, the beacon light on.
As required. Flight and engine instruments.
They look okay. I should be doing a proper scan here. I don't know that way.
Cabin lights.
Cabin light we're going to turn up.
As desired. Furnishing switch.
That's the coffee pot. We'll put that on also.
Annunciators.
Annunciators, they should light up. Okay.
Test and
Annunciators should light. Tested. Flight controls. They're okay. They look to be okay.
Flight instruments.
And no flags on our instruments.
No flags.
And brakes.
Brakes.
I'm gonna release the brakes. Okay, I guess it wants me to click that.
Release and test. Before
Check.
taxi checklist.
Complete.
Complete.
Okay, we get a double voice here for some reason when this checklist is set in the automatic mode. Anyway, we're gonna now, using our iPad and the georeferenced plates on ForeFlight here, we got the taxi and runway georeferenced here, so we're going to taxi out to we got to go down to the right. We're going to take off on 02, so you got to taxi down the length of the runway here. I got to get my altitude set to 12,000. Okay, I gotta have a hard time taxiing and trying to look away in the nub. It's not very good. We sort of got off the narrow runway there in the grass. Okay. I'm not flying real world traffic here because there shouldn't be much for traffic. And entering the runway. Okay, we're in Bravo mode, and I use my condition levers for controlling my taxi speed. I read that somewhere that was one of the easiest ways to control. If not, you got to be going between your Alpha and Bravo mode there, and when it's in Alpha mode, man, you can just get going too fast. So you seem to be able to control the speed just good with your condition levers, and you don't have to be switching between the Alpha and Bravo modes there all the time. So we got our altitude set. We got no radios really to set other than the local tower here, or whoever's handling things. I got to go back and check that. But we're flying a VFR route here all the way until we get to Calgary, and then we'll do hopefully we'll do an ILS approach when we get down there. I'm recording with my iPhone up here, and screen capture software down here, 2 separate ways of presenting and recording, and I also got 2 different sound systems. Oh, I got a lapel mic here, which I forgot to plug in, so I don't know whether you get the volume there or not. I had the screen capture sound coming from my Logitech, so I'll have sound there, but I might not have sound right away on the iPhone. Okay, we're gonna come down here, stop and do a final items checklist before we get going. The runway here is fairly long. It's 4,500 feet long. So lots of runway for the King 350, and I'm sure there's a few come in here to for the resort, the big resort, Jasper, Alberta. Okay, we're lining up on runway 2 here. We're going to do a final items checklist over here. We got to go to the checklist. Not doing all the checklists because they're just too long for the video. So, final items before taxi, correction before takeoff, checklist, start. Bleed air valves, there we are again.
Environmental bleed air.
Bleed air is open, environmental is on. So these are the 2 bleed rows. Got it off down here, aft heat off, aft blower off.
As desired.
Generator loads coming up. Up top.
As desired. Generator loads.
And they look to be good, about 28 volts.
Battery emitter.
Over here between 0 and 10.
Check in the range from 0 to 10 amperes.
Okay.
Exterior lights.
Exterior lights, we're going to put our landing lights on now for takeoff. Taxi light is off. Oh, I don't know why they weren't on for some reason. Okay, strobe and beacon on and nav light is on.
Ice protection. As required.
As required, we're not using it.
Auto ignition.
Auto ignition's up here.
Arm if required.
So I don't know what really the requirement is for that. I gotta learn that.
Check it arm.
Auto feather down here has got to be armed. Annunciator, it's nothing showing up.
Headings, flight directors.
Okay.
Set. Prop levers.
They're full ahead.
Crew briefing.
Considered.
Complete. Transponder. On. Brakes.
We don't really need the brake or the transponder.
Engine anti-ice.
Off.
Or is required.
Up here, engine anti-ice.
Before takeoff, final items checklist.
Complete.
Complete.
Okay, we're gonna set that aside for now. Well, first I'm gonna do the after takeoff. I should put that in the climb one there. I always forget my flaps. Okay, we've actuated our, we're gonna do that, our FMS, so it'll track our GPS routing. We've got that on our pop-up HSI over here. I also use the pop-up attitude indicator so I can read the speeds. My eyes just won't handle zooming in and zooming out. We got our altitude set. Our reference bugs for takeoff are set. And we're gonna use high idle, and it won't go into alpha mode unless I put them there with the mouse. So there we are. Okay, let's apply some power here. Called power levers in the turboprop, not throttles. I didn't set my trim.
60 knots.
80, 100, rotate. Okay, I want to come up at about 150 knots to start with. 145, there is good.
Flaps indicates up.
Put our flaps up. I always forget that. Keep climbing out. Can I get arm the nav mode here? Okay, we're gonna arm the climb mode here. And the autopilot we're gonna engage now. And we're got the autopilot on. We're in climb mode, which should climb us up roughly about 167 knots. I've got too much power on my above the red line on the thing. I'll bring that down just below the red line for now. I had too much power on my takeoff there, I think. The speed bug will come up here to about 167, which is the pre-programmed sort of climb speed of about 100 or 1500 feet. Well, descend you at 1500 feet, and I think, yeah, it looks like the climb speed will be roughly rate 1500 feet per minute also. So I'm gonna go back to my flight here in the maps. So we're gonna climb up to 12,000. We may have to climb higher. I'm not quite sure of the altitude of the mountains here. I haven't confirmed, but we're gonna basically be following the valley though, trying to follow the valley. I'm gonna just go outside so you can get a bit of a view there. I think this is the town of Jasper, is right over in here somewhere. I'm not sure. It may be down in here too. See if I can find it on the regular map here. It doesn't have the name on there, so go back. And we should have the prop sync on engaged also, so I should sort of go and read the Okay, after takeoff checklist, the climb. Okay, our landing gear is up. We've trimmed for climb. We're climbing 1,600 feet per minute, which is 100 in the 160 to 170 knot range. We're at 165. Autopilot's engaged. We should put our landing lights off. Let's see if I can find that. Well, it's always the wrong panel I go to. Oh yeah, they're always covered up by the thing there. So landing lights off. So we got our nav lights on and our beacon and our strobe. Okay, airspeed we're watching, propeller, we should bring that back to about 1,600. Should have done that a little earlier. Should do that automatically, maybe. And we're gonna bring our, I want to balance out our power levers here a little better. Still climbing at 1,500 feet per minute, and we're at 10,000. So it looks like 12 will just skim us above the mountaintops here. No transition altitude because we're not going above that. So we just got standard temperature and pressure set on our. No, we don't. Should have though. Now what happened? Okay. I should have 2.9. I hate having to work with the mouse. I really do. It's just abysmal. If you go off the little click spot, just see that just a little bit, then you're. I guess I shouldn't be trying to click it. I should. So a little change in altitude because I was changing my. Okay, we're at cruise, so we better bring our power levers. Well, they're not too bad. We're set pretty good for them right now at about 85. And we're following the FMS routing, so we're doing sort of a cruise checklist here for my printed out sheet. Propeller auto feather. Auto feather should be off. I don't know whether that's shut off or not. We'll go down and see. Auto feather. I guess it's over in this other panel. Auto feather right here. Auto feather. Okay, it is off. So I don't know whether it got armed anyway. The fuel quantity. We got good. I can go check the fuel quantity on this panel, and we got lots of fuel here. We've got better than 1,300 pounds per tank, I guess it is. So radios, we're not. We got just the emergency comm set for whatever the emergency frequency is. I got to check that. Autopilot. While we're on that, lights as required. Instruments checked. Okay, so that's the cruise. Next is the descent checklist. We'll have that sitting over here. Now, maybe we'll enjoy a little bit of the scenery here. Okay, this is a beautiful drive down the, I don't know, it's the Columbia Highway. I forget what the official name is for it. It goes down to Lake, comes out at Lake Louise. And we'll go outside for a bit. I think everything else seems to be okay. There's no snow in the mountains, which there should be snow in the mountains by now, but X-Plane doesn't have any kind of a winter package, which is too bad. They're going to have to up their game quite a bit if they're going to keep up with this new Microsoft flight sim that's coming out. I'm not quite sure 2020 is supposed to be out. See, we got a little smoke coming off our engines there. I don't know what that means. Maybe we're not. prop's not set quite. Anyway, there's also no highway showing down there, but that should be the main highway going down. Okay, we're not up to Jasper yet. Jasper, so where we took off was basically at Hinton. It's called the Hinton Jasper Highway Airport, but we're coming up to Jasper over our right side here. I wonder if there's any, you see any buildings or anything over there. So Jasper is going to be down in this valley in here somewhere, and it should be right close here. So I don't know whether they got anything showing for Jasper. No village, town, or probably too high. So that would be nice for X-Plane to add some of these major spots. So as you see, there's nothing there. Jasper should be here. So you'd follow this, Highway 16 goes right over to Prince George and on into Prince Rupert, then you can go south towards Kamloops. So that's I believe it's Highway 16. We're basically going down here following the Columbia Icefield Highway to Lake Louise. Now we're going to go over to Calgary. I don't know whether I can use the camera here. See what we do if we use the camera mode here. Oh, it gives us a close-up of things. We can go to let's go back here. And we'll go back into the cockpit here. Okay, I don't know see what we're burning for fuel and stuff here. See if I can see it on this. We're using that's our fuel flow down there. Okay, that should be our oil, and I think these should be our oil pressure and temperature gauges here, but can't really see them really good either. So yeah, the oil, left and right engines. So one side is the pressure and the other is the temperature. So we're on the green in both of them. Trouble is the go-around knob shows up there. So that's our oil gauges, and we're in the green in both. Fuel flow, we're burning about, I don't know, 4,500 pounds per minute, I guess. Okay. And we could bring our props tuned back to about 16. So if you really want to fine tune them, you got to come in where you can see them. Okay, now let's go back up in different panel views which come with this aircraft. And they're pretty good, I think. Okay, we're well past Jasper here now. See if we get to the Columbia Icefields. We've got a ways to go there. I'm using my flight for the route we're planning, and I don't know, following it. I think the big white patch there is Columbia Icefield. And you can see our airplane there on the thing. The GPS route we're following, but it's a VFR flight. I should know, well, I got time here to go to airports Calgary. I want to get, CYYC, I think it is. Calgary International. Procedures. I want to make sure I have the approach plate, and we're going to do the ILS 17 right, I think. Yeah, I hope that's what we're going to be using. I should try and print that out. I don't know whether it will. No, I got to go and reboot that. So anyway, the localizer for that, we can set our nav 1. Nav 1, which is 116.7. So we got 116.7 set on nav 1 for our Calgary ILS runway 17 right, which we expect to get. The course is 165, so I should get that ready too. How do I do that? Course preset. That brings up VRO1 course preset, and we need 165. So let's get 165 set on the. Okay, whoop, I went too far. Okay, we got our nav1 set up for the ILS 17 right into. I better check that again. 109.3. That doesn't seem to be what we have on there. 109.3. What happened? Nav1 109.3. Localizer 109.3. That's okay. So I have nav1 set. And now it's getting too hot. I gotta take my sweater off. Happens in the airplane too. Sometimes you're overdressed, right? Make sure I put my mic back on here. Put my mic back on. Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing this VFR down here. When you drive it, it's spectacular. When you drive it, it's spectacular, but without snow on the mountains, and like I say, there's no highway or anything showing. So this is a very famous area of the world. I think that X-Plane could maybe upgrade that for senior air. I don't know. I'll just put this down right now. We're not using the throttle quadrant right now, the 2D, so I'll move it over here a little bit and get a little bit more of the scenery there. And once we come around, see, I'll bet there's no snow or ice or anything up here in the Columbia ice fields, but there certainly should be. So oh, there is a little bit of, I don't know what they call that, snow. I guess that's some of that's supposed to be snow that you're seeing. There's some glaciers showing up, like over there on the. So we'll see what. There's not much left of the Columbia ice fields now. Boy, in my lifetime they've receded enormously. They're way back now. So the glaciers are melting, and the Columbia ice fields are right down in. About here, up in here somewhere. I'm gonna try and bring this panel down just a bit. There, more matches the matches up with my panel there a little better. So maybe Maybe that shows a little better up here in the iPhone too, a little more consistency in my skyline there. Okay, down in here should be the Columbia ice fields up in here. Oh, almost thought we had another plane there. There's some screen issue. So 12,000 is just barely enough. We've been better off at 12.5 coming down here. Well, it's all right, we're flying the valley, but there may have to come up 500 feet or so. So there, I guess, is the, you can see that sure doesn't color. It's pretty dirty looking, but that'd be all ice cap up there, and that's coming down here. Is pretty soon we should see the Columbia ice field back in there. If there is one, we're going to get that out of the way so we can. But right up in here is where we have the Columbia ice fields. You can go up on there on tracked vehicles. It's quite spectacular, but there ain't much showing there for. But that would be the cap, and the Columbia ice fields would be up in here. And you see, most of it's gone, but there is more to the field than that still. So. Maybe we'll get a better view around here at this corner. Actually, this might be where the lookout sightseeing area occurs up in here. I think it is. So we're just, yeah, but this is all part of the Columbia ice field, I guess. Okay. So up in here is that's the Columbia ice field up in here. Oh yeah, there's a lot more of it left than that. So this is kind of a poor representation of it. It should be right up in there is where you take the tracked vehicles and go right up onto the ice fields. So, but they've certainly receded in the recent years. It used to come right way down here. Now it's up. This isn't a true good representation of it. There's more ice than that in there, but that would be your Columbia ice fields. Okay. So the main highway goes down here, but there's no highway showing up in here at all the way it comes out at Lake Louise. But you can see if these were covered with snow, it would be very, very spectacular drive down the, I don't know what's called, the Columbia Icefield Highway, I believe. We hope to overfly Banff, see if they got anything, buildings or anything showing up in the Banff area. Like I say, this is a scenic flight. I just wanted to see what it would look like on X-Plane. I've never flown this before down in here. I'm just trying to brighten it up. That didn't work. I had it set pretty good before. I should have left it alone. I try and show a little bit of what I call my cockpit here view, but in order for that to be brighter, then I can't get anything out the windows on my monitors. It's just glare, so it's a compromise. Until I find a different way of recording, because I like to have the overall scene. I don't really like just the screen capture stuff. I'd like to have a little bit or bigger picture, but I'd rather be able to zoom in a little better at specific spots when I want to. But that's where the screen capture stuff goes good, because you can go inside, for example, like there, and you can zoom in and capture that. I'm going to go up to the radio panel and communications panel, and as you can see, We should have we gotta get the sound off there. We should have the nav one on so we can identify the localizer, the VFR, or the VOR, so we have the proper channel tuned in. That's auto communication, so I don't know what auto means, whether it just turns on the appropriate radios at the right time or what, I don't know. So you got your COM 1, COM 2, your nav 1, nav 2. You got the transponder down here on the left, and over here you got your ADF. And I haven't paid too much attention to this down in here yet, what that is. ANN push brilliance, so okay, that's, and I have a lot of trouble with this ADF thing. It always turns off, and you got that little wee knob there. Turn it on, which is a pain in the neck. So you got your antenna, ADF, tone. Okay, that's there. You got your volume controls for both your nav and one radios up here. So we're going to go back. As you can see in this picture here, you got the go around and the gear warning silencer on this end of the throttle. I haven't tried that yet either. I don't know what. I'll have to try that one day and see what it does. But I should have it set up so you can just push it on your, configured so you can push it on your yoke here, but not enough buttons. I could probably use this one, which I use to go outside. Yeah. Okay. How are we doing here? We haven't got up to, so we should, where we make our turn should be at Lake Louise basically, and we should be right over Highway 1, Trans Canada 1. Let's see if I can find Lake Louise on, that's Banff, so Lake Louise has got to be, that's Castle Mountain. Oh yeah, here's Lake Louise. As you can see, we should be flying right over Lake Louise, right in there. Oh, you can see it on the thing. On my iPad, ForeFlight with my iPad. I don't know if you can see Lake Louise in there or not. I should find a way so I can circle that. So, what's Lake Louise's waypoint? 51453. So, it just gives fixed points. It doesn't give me the. Doesn't give me the coordinates, so I can't tell you unless I knew which fix it was, and it doesn't identify the fix by number here. So well, we're at fix 10, I guess, coming up 2 miles. So fix 10 up. So we got 2 miles to go there. The next fix. So yeah, so we're about 30 miles from Lake Louise. In which case we start bearing left and down towards Banff, and then we'll go right over to Calgary. Yeah, someone can develop a highway system for X-Plane. That'd be another add-on. I don't know, this Microsoft new flight simulator, when that comes out, it sounds like it's going to be awesome. You know, I don't know how they're getting, like, it's like real weather, or real real VFR, everything. You can see the terrain, the seasons, everything. It's the trailers I've seen on it is so realistic, it's unbelievable. And so whether they have the aircraft and things to go along with it, that'd probably take a little more time to get it fully developed, but Be interesting to see. I've committed so much to X-Plane now as far as purchases that, gal, I probably wouldn't switch for a couple of years anyway if I was to do that. That's not coming up till next year, and so be another stick with X-Plane for see what we have with that new Microsoft simulator. You know, it's very expensive to keep adding. When they change system, then you got to get all kinds of new compatible aircraft or not compatible, so you got to buy new add-ons. So right now I'm struggling to get VATSIM going. I haven't tried Pilot's Edge yet, but I haven't been flying, I guess, in areas where there's many controllers. Or I've been in Vancouver a couple times, and there's one controller, one gentleman flying the tower there. In the last couple times I've tried it, but that's the only one. So I think if you want to experience Squawk Box a little better, you're going to have to go back maybe to the east coast of Canada, like Toronto, Montreal area, or go down into the States, California, San Diego, you know, those bigger areas where you might have a lot more people acting as controllers. So their Squawk Box might become interesting. But so far, what I've seen, I haven't been able to get the... I've been able to communicate a little bit with text the one time, but I just can't get the voice going. I want to use my Logitech headset here. My Logitech headset here, and or my yoke, and the talk button. I want to be able to use the talk button down here to, you know, for talk, which is what it's supposed to be, but I can't. So we should see if what we can get on this iPhone right now. Don't need to see me in there all the time, so maybe we can. That might be a little better use of that. So that's my iPad, ForeFlight on iPad. I use Navigraph on my laptop, which I usually have set up beside me on the other side. But right now I've got it hooked up for another monitor in the living room, which I'm trying to set up for taking my motorhome down to Mexico for the winter, because I won't be able to take my main computer and the setup I have here. So now I got a little... This will be the scenery for Calgary. I'll bet that's coming in already. There's a scenery heading error. May not look. Please look on the text file for detailed error information. I have looked there several times. There's one little object missing, but I don't know how to get the darn thing. I have to work at that a little bit more, because every one of those, which I like the scenery, is I think it's called Canada 4 X-Plane scenery, which he's developed a lot of scenery for BC and I think Alberta too, and other places maybe, but I have trouble getting all the there's some of the files that you have to upload, and there's the odd one that won't upload, or there's always an object or something missing, so I don't know. I think he needs to have a way for scenery so that you have it, that you can update the scenery. If it's missing an object, it'll load the object. I don't know. Probably too complicated. So this is Lake Louise right here. If you look on my webcam over there on my iPad, that's on my finger, is Lake Louise. Famous resort area, both not only in summer but winter for skiing. So we're not very far from Louise. Actually, the other #1 highway comes up here right along the side of us, a little behind us now. So I'll see if I can go back and see anything there. No, that didn't work. That didn't work doing that. What I should have done is gone outside and then gone around. Yeah, so the number 1 highway comes up through here. I don't know what lake that would be, but Lake Minnewaca, I think. Okay, we just passed over Lake Louise, but didn't see anything down there. Our next site place of prominence is Banff National Park, which is very famous and a beautiful place. So it's down here. Then we're going to basically heading for Calgary. Check our fuel, see how it's doing over here. Should have lots of fuel, but doesn't hurt to check once in a while. No, I got lots of fuel there. Auxiliary feed quantity. One of the fuses for. It's also our fuse panel here. Mind you, the operating manuals and the way you pop that up, it comes up over here. And there it comes out of your. Now I'll click the red spot here. It'll show back up there, but. If I want to look at the fuses, I got to do that and get my yoke a little bit out of the way there. There's our fuse panel down there. Okay, let's go back. I've got a frame rate about 25, which is not too bad, I guess, but I thought I got a pretty skookum computer, but I've got a 10, what is it, the new RTX 1080 video card in there, or one of those high ends. It's not the highest one, but it's next to the highest, and I still get low frame rates sometimes if you got a lot of cloud stuff to paint. So, or you got a lot of detailed scenery, your frame rate really comes down in some of them. Some of them are better than others, but my Mexico City scenery seems to draw heavily on the frame rate. But so I don't know what kind of computer you need to run everything, if there is such a computer. Okay, see if we see Castle Mountain here. Should be. Maybe we'll go over Mount Eisenhower. It's fairly prominent, so let's go outside for a bit. Castle Mountain should be right over here, but I don't think you see anything really prominent here. Right beside us. Castle Mountain. I don't know whether you can operate 2 webcams, but if you can, I'd like to think I'll get another webcam because you can use it to get different things into the screen capture software, which I can't get on my iPhone. Like you can get the route off my Navigraph. I can probably use that. It'll show when the approach plate pops up on the screen, which is geo-referenced in ForeFlight at about a $400 subscription fee. You can do the same thing in Navigraph, which is more for flight simulator. You can do that for, I don't know, $50. But the ForeFlight is a very, very, very good real-time, real-life pilot application. So it's really, really good. But so it's natural, I think, that you gotta pay different subscription rates to get the ultimate. Though it's pretty darn expensive if you want North American, South America coverage, and it's really quite expensive. I'd like to get that synthetic view and that where you can actually go down and preview your airport with the 3D scenery and stuff for terrain, and but that's very expensive. Nice to have though. We're going to take a turn to the left here. And I think down in here is where the highway branches off to Radium Hot Springs, right in here. Should be able to, right up, I guess it'd be this valley right here is where you, oh, I can't find my mouse, when you head up into Radium. Next high spot is Banff. So I don't know what lake that would be. Oh, I do know what lake, but my name, forget the name. Let's make maybe Lake Minnewaca there, I think. Some reason that name is bouncing on my head. And so Banff is right beside Banff here now, but this would be the Banff right here. Flying right over Banff. Oh, Banff is a little behind us right here, I guess. Somewhere in here is Banff. I guess this is Banff right in here. That'd be the, what do you call it, the river. So Banff is right in there. Banff. The Bow River is what I'm trying to think of. We should have the Spray Lakes, should be up in here. I don't know if we're going to see them. Canmore, where my parents used to live for a while. And my sister and her husband used to live for a while. I love Banff, but now it's become overtaken by money. Canmore's been overtaken by money. You wouldn't, become the land of the home for the rich and the famous. Something like some of these resorts in the States, the big money takes over, and then the average guy just, well, can't afford a house or anything else in these areas anymore. So Canmore is right here. I've taken this road back up into the Spray Lakes. It's quite a little road to get up in there. Beautiful, the Spray Lakes. So that would have been the Bow River back there, I think, from Banff, and then it comes down here, I think. So we're approaching the foothills there. You can see over to the west, which is where we're going to be going, and Calgary's over in there. So what we want to do next is the descent checklist. We got to worry about ATIS. Well, we're not flying real weather altimeter. We're standard pressure. We got to arm the auto feather. That's the one thing we should be doing. Better highlight that. One of the key things that I would think of doing. Descent speed, well, we do that automatically, but that should be 180 knots. At torque 15, it says. So you bring your torque levers right back and bring her down to 180. Keep the propeller at 1600. Approach checklist. The different speeds for that is speed established, I guess, on the ILS, 150, 130, and then fill down. So main speeds 150, 130, 105. Condition levers full. Auto feather, verify arm. Okay. Okay, I think we can now come down in altitude. We're clear of the mountains, so we can come down from, we're going to come down to about 8,000 anyway for starts. Oh, we're probably 70 miles from Calgary. So we're starting descent now, so we could verify the auto feather is armed right here now. I gotta go, which one is right there, I think. Oh, hell, it's not the auto feather either. There we are, auto feather armed. Oh, it's hard to tell. It shows off on there, but it does not want armed, so I don't know. We tried to arm it. High RPM, we'll put our props full ahead, I guess. Condition levers, well, we're going to bring them back a little instead of going high. Because once you start, I'll bring them half now because it's about the only way to control your darn. So once we get to 180 knots here, we're 190, we'll bring our condition levers up a little to, what, 15 I think it said. Yeah, so there we are, about 15%. Should maintain about 180 knots.
Destination ATIS is 128.225.
That's Calgary ATIS coming on, 128.25. So descent, auto feather, well, we've armed it, we're at 180 knots, and it seems to be maintaining that. And we don't know flaps yet or anything. Anti-ice not required. That's the approach check. I'm still, so 1600 RPM. We got our fuel balance we've checked. Descent speed, we're at 180 knots, which is pretty good. So next checklist is the approach checklist. That's where we want to be down to, well, it says 150 here, which is what you need to keep the gear alarm from coming on. At 140, which I like to go, and seems to be a nice speed, your gear alarm comes on just below that 139. You got a gear alarm going. So you can keep it at 150 and then set the approach flaps, which is called in here, it's called flap approach. I might as well get this over here now so we're got it where I'm ready to use it. And so there you have a flap, and it's got flap approach. You only got 3 knots flap settings on this thing. So my next speed is going to be 150 knots and flap approach. Man, we're booting right along here. So, and there's going to be the, oh, how come it's not flying that? How come it's not flying that? Something not right there. Something not right. Let's go back into arrival legs. 17 right. Angles. Oh boy, I don't know what's wrong there. So we're gonna have to go to heading mode, and I gotta bring it way north here. So I'm gonna go to heading mode. And didn't have that really set where I should have, but we got to get way back up to the north here. I don't know why that I didn't check my FMS well enough, I guess. Why? Man, that thing just gets going on its own. It develops a mind of its own. As you can see, the approach plate there, we got to get quite a bit to the north. What's our speed there now? And we're at 8,000. I want to go down to 5,000. I don't know what the 6,500 at Ellerow. So we're gonna go, so we can go up to, keep it at 6,000, I guess. We're descending. Yeah, okay, we're just gonna basically try and fly that because I couldn't get the. Well, there's Ellerow, so maybe we can get it going in there now. Maybe I can go direct to Ellerow, clear this. Now we can go direct Ellerow, direct. Okay, I got the nav. Okay, I finally got that Ellerow, which is our transition waypoint, onto the ILS. Okay, I guess that's what you'd call not, as you can see, there's our routing again, and Ellerow is right up here where we transition onto the ILS. So that little wiggle there is because we it wasn't we had a discontinuity in the flight plan from the last fix. So we got that rectified. It's not quite. It's taken a little bit of while to stabilize on that. And I should set the heading mode again, not set the heading mode, but at least bring our heading bug around to that. And we should be set up for missed approach too. Missed approach, climb to 4100, heading, once we're on the glide scope, we can set 4100, heading 165, then climbing right turn to 7000, intercept OBD CYYC. Oh. That's 1,000 foot to the 6,000. Okay, and this missed approach. Climb to 4100, heading 165, then climbing right turn. Intercept the OV, the radio, Oscar Bravo Delta, radio 216 to Rickhead. And then you shuttle up to 8,400. I wonder if I've got a. Yeah, it's got the hold published in there, so that's good. If we got to do that, so we would have to set the 4,100 would be our first altitude. Just fly that, the 5,100 heading 165. So you'd want to go into heading mode, which is the runway heading, roughly. Okay, I don't know what this cautionary light is. Okay, what do we got for speed? We're just about capturing that. And then we're going to want to go ahead on the. So we got nav one set. What's the course is supposed to be? Shipokes. How did that get changed around? Oh, God. Where's the course? I can't see it. It's underneath the thing. It's 165. How did that get changed? Somehow that got changed. We did have it set. Okay, I think we're back in business. Nav 1 set 109. 109.3 set on nav 1, 103, and we should have. I don't know what we should have set on there after that. I hated his finger stuff. There were 165. I got that set. I'll get that ATIS off there. Okay, we're not too far from 14 miles from Elro, the transition on the waypoint. So, and we're at 6,000, so that's is fine for intercepting the glide scope, which calls for 6,500. So we're at 6, so we're below it. That's fine. Procedure turn not authorized. Oh, it's got Elro set for here for 67110, but then down to 6,500. Anyway, we're flying VFR here, so I got to study this a little bit better later, because it's got Elro at 7110. Then I guess it's got not below 6,500. So we're at 6,000. So we're already, if we were flying this IFR, we'd be in violation now because we're at 6. We should have. Oh, I don't know whether we can. It's not worth going back up to. Okay, better get my feet on the rudder pedals here. I got very sensitive rudder pedals, so I'm a bad knee, so I've got to take them off there for a while. Okay, get that out of the way. Once we get a localizer, then we can activate the approach mode. We're going to try and do an ILS approach here, even though we are VFR, and I should be communicating with Calgary Tower, but we're not flying real. But I should be practicing that just the same, and I haven't got the frequencies written down, so you got to leave everything just to do that. Frequencies, center arrival, 125.9 we should have set in our COM one. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Departure clearance center arrival just says 123.85. Not quite sure how this multi-panel works. Put that over there. That should be COM 1 active. I got these actually backwards. I got my nav 1 set up on here, and a COM 1 down there. Hopefully that works. I think the normal thing is have your navs down here, your comms there, and so I don't know why why they even have the 1 and 280 stuff set up on there. So you can set them either way on any level here by looks of it. Okay, I'm gonna start watch our speed already. It's come down. That's because we captured the. Wasn't paying attention there. I wonder if amazing it's still staying there at 145. I don't know how it did that. I guess we just captured it. That's why. We got a localizer there now, so we can actually arm the approach, I think. The localizer comes in, hopefully it'll. So we got our approach armed. I'll bring our speed down a little, 160 now. I can actually go approach flap mode 1. We didn't put the flaps up, we put them down, so there's a problem with the one about 150 knots here. There we're coming in on the localizer. We're turning to capture, maybe not, that's the FMS we're still tracking. Localizer's coming in now, so we can actually activate the localizer. It's captured. So now we're flying the localizer. 1 notch flap down, that's called flap approach. And you can see the airport ahead, and we want 17 right. So see the Calgary airport down there. Calgary in the background. Once we get in a couple miles from the runway, we'll brake and disengage the autopilot. And first speed they wanted on this thing is 150, 25% torque. So we're at 20. We should try 25 here. Okay, I think we can go gear down now. And we're going to come down a little in our speed to 140. We've captured the glide scope, and we're captured the localizer, of course. So we're on glide scope, on localizer. And you can see that all right here on the map there. Volume's right up on that. Gonna get ready to disengage the autopilot. Let my speed come down a little bit more here now. And we're go full flaps now also. Although we don't need it on this long runway. Oh, it's my throttle power, or what do you call them? Torque. Power levers, I guess.
Feet to minimum.
130 and torque 35 usually. So that's what we're about. Well, that's 30. Okay, I'm gonna disengage the autopilot and do the rest ourselves.
3 mile final runway 17 right.
500 feet to minimum distance.
So we're flying the airplane now, and this is good. This is Canada 4X plane scenery for Calgary, so sending too fast here.
200 feet to minimum distance.
I still got no VOR or glide scope indications on this darn thing of mine. I should have the heading set.
1 feet to minimum distance.
500.
Minimum distance.
I didn't set my VRF speeds, but I know it's about 105 knots, so that's fine. Another mistake, not doing checklists. Boy, this is good scenery. Sending about 500 feet per minute, 120 knots. Gonna pay down just a little bit in our. No Pape lights here though on this, so I don't know.
100 feet. 50 feet. Pumps full. Knots.
pop-up runway shows there. We got an exit here all the way back to the, we can do this, I guess. We're coming off on C2 here. We got no traffic. I should clean up my flaps now. Which I always forget to do. I should be doing a taxi to ramp. It's a strobe light off, so I can't get down there without going down here. It's just got the strobe light off, flaps are retracted, taxi lights on. We just got to go down there again and get our taxi lights on. Landing lights off, we got them off. Maximum speed 20 knots of elevator trim. Should reset our trim for takeoff setting, I guess, so you don't forget. And have Onyx radios set. We should have our ground on here, but I got to get those written out next time. Write out them so I can switch those appropriately here. Okay, I don't need the HSI up there anymore. My 2D pop-up panel, so I can get rid of that. And we can get rid of this here. And we're going to follow Charlie now down to the terminal where WestJet is. We're going to cross runway 29 here now.
Approaching runway 1129.
We got no traffic coming. We're cleared by ground.
Entered runway 1129.
I should have went off at that taxiway, not necessarily, I guess. And it says not taxi more than 20 knots, so I don't have any speed showing, so I guess we're less than 20 knots. You see WestJet, the ice up here. This is the main base, I think, for WestJet. Love flying WestJet. Got to fly this Calgary area more often because it's beautiful scenery. I don't know whether there's any Edmonton scenery. I should download that if I can find it. Okay, we're gonna head off here at next turn off anyway, which I think is, I don't know what it is, but it looks like we can go, no, we better keep going down here to H, I guess it is. Hotel. We can try and go off here, I think. And we're going to go up in where the big jets, big boys park, just so we can have a look at them. So I guess this is all static aircraft that comes with Canada 4X plane scenery, and the Calgary scenery is really good. But I didn't see any approach lights, or I don't know whether I got to do some checking, see if there should be PAPI lights or not. I didn't see any. There's two Yeah, there's the new runway over there. It's a couple years old now, and I think they got two different sort of terminals now they use. But there's a sky, I don't know, there's a fast tram type of thing or something connected them. Now we're gonna go in here. It looks like we can park down in here somewhere. Nice WestJet right there. And we're gonna park out here back from the gates, so we don't want to get in the way of. There's a Lear parked over here. We can probably pull in. Well, we can pull in by the shed down here, I think. Now we'll circle right around in here by this. Oh, no, they're waving us over here, so we better go over here, I guess. We got clearance, so we got a couple people we're gonna pick up here by in this area here. So just swinging around here, put our brakes on, and okay, go down, put our brakes on. Go to fuel cutoff up here, our throttle quadrant, shut our avonics off. Put our condition levers back up there again for the next flight. Go back up outside, look around, and we can go outside and open the doors, let a couple people off. Behind the door, I don't know whether we can. I got to be able to click on it, so door's coming down, and we got a fuel truck coming. So we click on the fuel thing. I don't know where, right there. And we're taking on some fuel, so we can head up to Edmonton in a couple hours. So anyway, that's it, folks. That's a scenic flight from Jasper down along the Columbia Icefield Highway to past Banff and into Calgary. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it's not too long. Stop.